Since you went away, the days grow long, and soon I'll hear old winter song. But I miss you most of all, my darling, when autumn leaves start to fall. Since you went away, the days grow long, and soon I'll hear old winter song. But I miss you most of all, my darling, when autumn leaves, when autumn leaves, when autumn leaves start to fall.
Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Utica. I'm Branwyn Drew, Vice President of the Church Board. Whether you're visiting for the first time or have been a member for many years, you are welcome here. Whatever your faiths you have known, if any, you are welcome here. Whoever you are and whomever you love, you are welcome here. We are invited to bring our whole selves to this worship service, our doubts as well as our convictions, the pain and joy we have known, our longings for connection and understanding. Every part of you is welcome here. Our congregation acknowledges the land on which UU Utica is situated as the ancestral lands of the Oneida Nation, one of the original nations, the Haudenosaunee, or the Iroquois people. If you are visiting today for the first time, either in person or online, we are glad you have joined us. We would love you to learn more about you and connect you with a newsletter if you like. There's a link in the chat to a form that we hope any online visitors will fill out, and we hope you will stay for informal conversation online and after the service. 3 announcements. Today, our board president, Carol Gable, is participating in the inaugural Abolitionist Freedom Walk. It traces a portion of the foot and canal barge journey which 104 Black abolitionists took from Utica to Peterborough to escape an angry mob of anti-abolitionists in 1835. In Peterborough, excuse me. Uh, it's the chilly weather in the morning. And Peterborough and the New York State Anti-Slavery Society was formed. Here's a fun UU community event. We will be raking and blowing leaves at the church this Saturday, October 29th, beginning at 10 a.m. Come and join in the fun. Many hands make for light work. If you have any questions, please contact Paul Tenarowitz or Jack Pendrake. And the last announcement has to do with the UU Service Committee. There's a lot of problems going on in Haiti right now, and they are on the ground providing help for people. Evidently, the gangs have closed all the roads down and everything and preventing aid getting to where it needs to go. So if you want to make a contribution to that, they're easy to find online. Thank you. Let us open our hearts and minds to the experience of community and the wisdom of love.
I guess I would add a quick thought to the announcements, one being that there are pumpkins on the table outside, and I set those up inviting families in particular, but everybody is welcome if you'd like to help decorate some pumpkins with acrylic paints or whatever you have on hand. And also to just say thank you for the special music, in that I think we often forget that it takes courage, which is today's topic, to live through the loss of loved ones. And so that particular piece was just lovely. We underestimate the power of music to help us through. And so the chalice lighting. At times, these are words from Albert Schweitzer. At times our own light goes out and it was rekindled by a spark from another person. Each of us has cause to think with deep gratitude of those who have lighted the flame within us again and again. With thanks, we light our chalice this morning. And if you would look on page 360 at the hymn in your gray hymn book, we'll sing together, "Here We Have Gathered," one of my favorite autumn songs. And when you're ready, please rise as you are able in body or spirit or both. Be seated. Oh my goodness. This call to worship comes from a prayer that was written by Zaloni Kachela after one of the many mass shootings that we have seen over and over again. Spirit of life, help us find our way through the turmoil that turns people against each other instead of toward each other in love. Help us to see that little good ever comes out of viewing each other as other. Only when we find our common humanity can we coexist peacefully and with loving kindness. As exasperated as we may become, we go on. The future beckons us to come to it bearing a faith and resolve that passes understanding. Like the birds of the air that can't help but sing their morning songs, we too have a song. We sing of love. We sing of forgiveness, grace, mercy, compassion, friendship, care, trust, and the ability to transcend our circumstances. We ask this prayer in the name of all that is holy, in the name of all persons present and absent, remembered and forgotten, known and unknown. Amen, Ashe, may it be so, and welcome. Together, Katie Spires is going to help us welcome the new members that we joyfully bring into this beloved community. And so I call forward the 4 people we welcome this morning who are on your order of service, unfortunately misspelled by me. My apologies. Roberta Matthews, if you're here, there you are. Christine Stamboli, Matthew Cavalieri, Jennifer Yeager, and we also welcome Alex Jackson, who became a member last year but is signing the book 2 years ago, who has not yet had the opportunity to sign the book because of the pandemic. And we're lining between the piano and the pulpit here. And Katie, if you would, step forward. There we go. We'll get ourselves organized. And I'm going to follow behind with the membership book that is to be signed.
Oh, what? Sorry. Oh, sorry. Oh, welcome to all of our new members. We hope that you become a part of our congregation and we share joys and sorrows and live together in community. Thank you. Oh, I'm sorry.
It's exciting, isn't it? To welcome new members. And then we are also going to, traditionally, this congregation acknowledges at least once a year someone, people who have been here a threshold years, like a 1 year, a 5, a 25, and a 50. And many of those folks were acknowledged last year. And the person who we have not yet acknowledged for 25 years of being a member in this congregation is Brenda Maris. And I think Brenda is probably not here, and I will make a special trip over to Brenda's place and hand her a certificate, but it would be lovely if we could just send our gratitude for her presence in our community. There's a little kerfuffle happening. Am I wrong about that? Well, that's sorry, I corrected mine, but not yours. Go figure. Sorry, it is 25 years, and there are 50-year members who have been recognized. Thank you. Thanks, Katie. I will reach out and I'll let you know, Jackie, when I find her. I will let you know. All right. Good. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Katie, for your help with that. Well, I am not a particularly brave person. I like to think that I would have supported, for instance, the safety of those fleeing the angry mob in the 1835 Utica chasing with violence the people who were anti-slavery. And I would certainly have hoped to have joined if I was in my right mind back in 1835 when that anti-slavery society was created in Peterborough, New York. I have done brave things, for sure, but many reasons in my life have caused me to be a student of a core lesson for my whole life, which is not to act on my innate fear and instead choose to be led by a greater vision of what could be. All of us have different responses to difficulty. We have different core lessons to live and learn in our lives. Courage is one of those lessons for me, and I know for some of you as well. Yesterday, the New York State Convention of Universalists took place. While Nancy Bender and Ken Drake were there in person, I was grateful to be able to attend on Zoom. The organizing topic of the event was seeking justice, finding joy. An oversimplified way to describe the spirit of the day is that for each of us, it is somewhat challenging to allow ourselves to feel joy if we're also paying attention to what's happening in the world. To balance what it does to us to be aware of the pain and the suffering in the world, and also honor the beauty and the joy in the world. There are so many sermons possible in this statement that you are likely to hear more about the convention in the future, but for today, we speak of courage as one of the possible responses in living as a person who chooses to witness the injustice and the pain in the world, in addition to the beauty and the goodness. If I do things that look courageous, it's because I rely on the spirit of this quote by Black poet and activist Audre Lorde, which is, "When I dare to be powerful, to use my strength in the service of my vision, then it becomes less and less important whether I am afraid." To use my strength in service of my vision, for me, becomes using my strength in service to our collective vision. Collective vision and strength are what brought me to ministry, knowing that if I hope to give my gifts in this world, hope to offer positive energy in the world, that I would need to rely on others I trust for both vision and strength to act with courage. Reverend Mark Morrison Reed, a Black visionary Unitarian Universalist leader, contributed one of my favorite readings in the hymnal, number 580, if you want to look at it. It ends with, The religious community is essential, for alone our vision is too narrow to see all that must be seen, and our strength too limited to do all that must be done. Together, our vision widens and our strength is renewed. Thank you, Reverend Mark. I alone do not possess wide enough vision to lead. I alone do not possess enough strength to lead. So I am drawn to be among you. Yet I am an introvert who needs at least as much time alone as I have in community. Being in a room of 50 people is beautiful and enriching, but not necessarily a simple thing for all of us in this room. This may sound ridiculous to some of you, but just bear with me when I say that collective vision and strength are what get me through coffee hour. Seriously, I can't be the only introvert who feels my systems are overloading halfway through coffee hour. At least one of my tires has gone flat. It's not a great feeling, truly. I know some of you love coffee hour conversations and rise to that occasion, and the introverts, back me up here. It's not always easy, and it takes some courage to remain in the group. I see some head nodding. It takes courage to hang in there at coffee hour for those of us who don't know everyone or anyone. For those of us who get overwhelmed, we've got to find a way to settle inside of ourselves in order to stay put and join a conversation with people we don't know. It is not always easy to join a conversation, and it takes some courage. In fact, it takes courage to join our congregation, as 4 people have done today. Joining a congregation and remaining a member of a congregation for many years, as many of you have done, signals a willingness to move from observing to participating. Becoming and remaining a member signals taking a step out of a safer self-containment to opening a bit more and to commitment. For many of us, it is worth taking more risk to stay and engage because we are drawn to the vision and the energy and the song that moves through this community. The opening words from Zolana Cella are these: as exasperated as we may become, we go on. The future beckons us to come to it bearing a faith and resolve that passes all understanding. Like the birds of the air that can't help but sing, we sing of love, we sing of forgiveness, of grace, mercy. We sing of compassion, friendship, care. We sing of trust and the ability to transcend our circumstances. Love, compassion, and care can help us transcend coffee hour. And it will be the love, compassion, and care that helps us remain members and connected, whether we're members or friends, through the complex life of community. When we join or when we participate, we're often drawn to the people, the vision, the freedom, the energy. And then more than once in our time together, the people or the minister may seem less healthy than we had hoped. Or the vision and the energy which ideally align and sing together have gone their separate ways so that the energy burns without vision. Each of us is likely to make mistakes and break covenant because we are human, and it takes courage to engage as members and friends. It takes courage to remain connected to vision and to each other and work beyond our disappointment to build understanding and trust again. In some ways, exercising courage is likely to push us to be uncomfortable. I was the uncomfortable recipient of active faith and courage recently when a member of our congregation told me honestly that I had messed up by missing a meeting. I messed up, for sure. But this person pushed through their own discomfort to tell me the truth. I was so grateful because it gave me the opportunity to apologize, to take responsibility, and realize I needed to be more careful in the future. I'm so grateful they allowed themselves to go through that discomfort because I believe in our vision of mutuality, care, respect, and trust. Was I comfortable? No. But I have learned, as much as I dread being embarrassed, I don't usually die of embarrassment. I have learned, in part through our faith and living in community, my own self-worth. So I could keep breathing and accept the circumstances of my mistake and transcend those circumstances. I'll invite you now to explore your own thoughts for a few moments. I won't ask you to share out loud, but what are you faced with in your life that you feel will require courage for you to handle in concert with your highest values? What in the vision of this church community challenges you in a way that may require courage for you to truly stay engaged? My guess is that being called to be courageous with this thing you're faced with is not comfortable, perhaps very, very uncomfortable. Courage is not a magical ingredient that some people have and others do not. It's something one cultivates and practices. What might that practice look like? We'll use Reverend Karen in coffee hour. We feel the discomfort. Maybe tension or conflict builds. Well, it is good that we notice that we're feeling tense. Noticing is essential to be able to choose how we want to respond rather than just react, as in my getting really busy and going to the office or going outside, or you know it. Then after we notice the practice with this growing tension and awareness of what's going on, however you register the challenge in your being, if we remember not to run, not to lash out, not to numb out, amazing awareness. We are uncomfortable and we're aware. That is a good thing. But then what? We run out, we numb out anyway, but we've made progress by remembering we have a choice. So how do we keep ourselves from reacting to discomfort with fighting or running or shutting down or trying to take control? Just when our habits threaten to take over, we have the opportunity to stay still, to stay put in the discomfort. The practice of staying put with the discomfort to keep ourselves from reacting with habit can happen in prayer, in breathing, counting to 10, remembering a higher vision or a higher power. This is where courage comes in. It's choosing that other higher call, that vision, that process, that practice, rather than choosing our habit. When we can, because we can't always. Elementary school teacher turned Buddhist monk Pema Chodron teaches how not to be taken over by our emotions, to stay with what is happening in order to become freer of what is happening. That's a conundrum, isn't it? To stay present to what is happening in order to become freer of what is happening, so that we're not driven by what's happening inside of us. That way we can think and choose. That's where the freedom lies. Through meditation, Pema Chodron teaches how to stay with discomfort, with intense emotion, if it's not a danger to you, to stay in order to see it. And some peace heroes, some peace warriors will stay in the midst of danger in order to see it and to be a presence. But if we can stay with our habits, our discomforts, and not let our habits drive us, stay with the discomfort long enough to breathe, then we can remember our feeling, our reaction to the discomfort, to the pain that we see, to the anger that's rumbling through the air, to the fear that we feel all around us. If we can stay with our reaction to recognizing what's happening, then we know that we have a little more space. We are not that reaction. We are not our feeling. We can choose to become a little distanced from that intensity. I don't want to diminish the intensity. It is real what you're feeling when you're in what feels like danger or feels painful. But to become less identified with that intensity gives us a little more space and remembers there's a lot more of us to that than there is. There's a lot more to us than there is with just that intense feeling. Learning, as I have through meditation, to stay with the discomfort, to practice it, kind of builds a muscle that helps us respond rather than react habitually. Meditation is not for everyone. In fact, I can't do just brain meditation. I have to do walking meditation or another kinetic form of meditation. But meditation for me has been one way to build my capacity to exercise courage. And so you may have your own process, your own exercises that you do to practice choosing rather than reacting in order to choose courage. Choosing to be a member of a community of faith, if we're lucky, is choosing to grow. It's choosing to respond in ways that are guided by vision in the most mundane of our tasks. Making board minutes, running a meeting, sharing information. These are all part of our ministry together, and they're guided by our vision, our covenant, which, by the way, is on the back of your order of service. And we are in community learning skills, like meditation, to act in concert with the greater vision. Choosing to be part of the Unitarian Universalist Church of Utica is choosing courage for possibility, for joy and laughter, when we have again been discouraged, even despondent. We're choosing here to lessen or stop our addictions to things, to substances, to numbness. We're choosing here to be respectful and sometimes well-boundaried in order to be with one another after hurt. We're choosing here to learn gratitude even when feeling overwhelmed or small. We're choosing here again and again to covenant rather than to be reactive in ways that shut us down and away from one another. The courage to choose to act, to make our vision real, even amid constant violence and what seems like insurmountable odds, is the choice that we try to make here again and again, because that's who we say we want to become. Choosing to be part of a community of faith is choosing courage. Sometimes just a little courage, a little at a time, is good. Sometimes a lot of courage is necessary, but it is courage that blooms from our vision of what can be. It's a courage offered to us through our history and our heritage, through inspired leaders, awesome children, great skill, beauty, and love that we share. It's a great gift to be together in this caring and vision-driven community. May we each bring our full selves, along with more and more courage to become who we say we want to become individually and who we want to become collectively. May we dare, in the words of Audre Lorde, to be powerful, to use our strength in the service of our vision, making it less and less important whether we are afraid, or I add, overwhelmed or angry. May we use our strength in service to our vision. May it be so for us all. Blessed be, Ashe, and Amen. The next hymn on 298 is Wake Now, My Senses. This hymn is often sung when ministers become ordained, officially recognized at ministers. And it really is the ministry of all of us. And so I welcome you to sing the verses 1, 3, and 5. Rise as you are able in body or spirit, or both. 298. Thank you. So if you would join one another in the spirit of prayer or meditation, whatever fills your heart, whatever grounds your feet, whatever clears your mind. Maureen Killerin wrote this prayer. I pray this day for the courage to be humble in the face of inequity and pain, to know that the power has been given to me to make a difference, although not to end all suffering or to save all the whales that populate our days. I pray for the courage of endurance, to keep acting in the midst of despair, to keep trying in the aftermath of failure, to keep hoping in the emptiness that follows loss or change. May courage give me patience, and may I even know love's healing presence at the heart and the center of our days. Blessed be. Amen. Ashante. And it is the offerings that we give to this congregation that help us create and maintain this place for anyone who comes to find a place of acceptance and courage. Would you turn to your order of service and read together the words for extinguishing the chalice, and I will snuff these candles. We extinguish I will invite you, maybe even implore, that when you leave here today, that you be gentle with yourself, for there will be times when we cannot be courageous. And that as we learn what it takes to be courageous, it helps to encourage ourselves rather than to look at everybody else who's so brave and courageous and think, I can't do that. Because when you look at the people who are so brave and courageous and inspire us on, they are practicing courage through music, through the support of their communities, through help of people who know them and know their vulnerabilities, through culture, in so many ways. Our leaders require the same kind of support that each of us needs in order to be who we want to become. And so, may you walk away with peace in your heart and hope and welcoming the possibility of courage when it appears. May it be so for us all. Blessed be and amen.
Wake up where the clouds are far behind me, where troubles melt like lemon drops, way above the chimney tops. That's where you'll find me. Somewhere over the rainbow, bluebirds fly, birds fly over the rainbow. Why then, oh why can't I? If happy little bluebirds fly beyond the rainbow,